What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back once again to the Fight Pit, baby. House Call Sports Fight Pit. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Welcome to anybody that's joining us for the first time. We appreciate you dropping into the Fight Pit with us. Today, we are covering UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Erceg, going down March 29th at Arena CDMX in Mexico City, Mexico. Intro music.
Hey, give me the chip. I need the championship. Wait, we got a dream next to the team. Yeah, we can handle it. Wait.
Welcome back to the Fight Pit, folks. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Every single week, every single UFC card, we are here in the Fight Pit, chilling, chopping it up with the boys, breaking down all the fights, giving you our predictions, letting you know what our best bet picks are. That's right, we do bet, and we do pretty good. We do pretty all right. We do pretty all right. It's so good to be here with the boys in the Fight Pit. As always, my favorite time of week, my favorite thing to be doing, just chilling in the Fight Pit and talking about fights. It's, you know, we would be here doing this anyway, so we do appreciate you. If there was nobody else watching this is what we would be doing. We are up to, I think, 400, 500 some odd subscribers now, and we appreciate every single one of you. So thank you all for joining us. Today, we are looking at UFC Fight Night Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg, going down Saturday, March 29th, and in Arena CDMX in Mexico City. I'm not sure why they still have it listed as DF. I believe it's like Distro Federal, which is like the old name, but I mean, it's just Mexico City now. They don't gotta get so complicated with it. Mexico City works. Keep it simple for us gringos. Come on now. But Brandon Moreno in Mexico City that's as good as it gets. That's what more could you ask for? Going up against Steve Erceg too, who's I pretty confident it's going to be a hell of a fight. But before we get too deep into that, I have to check in with my boys. Absolutely have to. I cannot go any further without checking in with my homies. I miss you guys every day that we are apart. It tears me up inside, and it's so good to see you guys. So joining us today moderating, it's you boy Drew, High Fight IQ. But also joining, we have Sean of the Dead, Mr. Bad Beats himself. Sean, how goes it today? Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's going pretty good today. Excited to see this fight night. Unfortunately, the UK fight night that we covered last week, I will not be able to see. I'll be out of town watching spring training baseball by the time I get back, because the main card starts at 4. I won't be able to see it whatsoever. So I'm going to see if there's any way I can record that, because that's an awesome card too.
I mean, hey, spring training baseball that's a valid reason to miss it though. Which camp are you at?
Going to be at George Steinbrenner Field. It's going to be where the Rays play during the regular season this year, so you'll still see it on TV. But that's Yankees spring training. I think they're playing the Cardinals. I could be wrong, but I think it might be the Cardinals. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Is that, you said it's at is that Tropicana?
No, it's George Steinbrenner Field. It's right next to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium in Tampa. So they're legitimately across
Tampa
the street.
Bay. Okay. Yeah. Tropicana is Miami, right?
No, Tropicana is in St. Petersburg. That's basically, they're called Tampa Bay Rays that are not in Tampa Bay. The reason why they don't sell tickets is because you have to go across this stupid bridge that's always traffic, adds an hour to every drive. It's like, no one's going to go there. Put them in Tampa.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, that's freaking awesome, dude. That's awesome. I'm jealous. I haven't even got to watch. I mean, aside from a few Dodgers highlights, I haven't really got to see any spring training stuff yet. So hope that ends up being a good one for you. I'll definitely I'll be rooting for your Yankees all the way up until the postseason. So we're back to being friends again. And also joining us today, holding it down downstairs in the brand new pad, Mr. Matt Talks MMA. Matt, great to see you, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be back in here. I took a little bit of a hiatus from my channel and just doing UFC for a little bit, but I'm back and I'm better than ever, and I'm excited to be here.
Let's go. That's what I like to hear, baby.
Hey, give me the chip. I need the championship.
We're gonna pop back through last week real quick and just recap a little bit of the Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze card. I'll pull up the full card and skim through it real quick. But Roman Dolidze cash in as an underdog. Thankfully, I was pretty spot on with the last card. Gage also, I think both of us were pretty close to going perfect there. Musasa and Kurt Hollabaugh were the only picks on that last fight card that I got incorrect. And let me tell you, folks, if I had any drywall in my dwelling, it would not have been safe. But like I said, Roman Dolidze cashing as an underdog, Chidi and Joquani, Alex Hernandez getting the very close decision, Brenson Ribeiro getting the submission, Kevin Valleos with the first round KO. Beautiful stuff. So we'll go to Matt, since Matt hasn't been here in a while. Matt, how'd you like that last card? Anything stand out to you? Anything of note you wanna drop in?
Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it. The main set of fights were pretty good. You know, I feel like when you don't have a card that has too much on the name value, it tends to outperform most of the time. I'm also kind of surprised on Ryan Spann's debut at the heavyweight division. It kind of looked like he was, I don't know, like struggling mentally in there a bit, giving up at times, and I hope to see him bounce back soon and see him better than ever, hopefully.
That's a good call. Yeah, I did have Cortez on that one too, just because I was not confident I'm not confident with too many people going against Cortez, but especially someone coming up from light heavyweight, someone who hasn't been at heavyweight for very long. Didn't have high hopes for Spann on that one, but he's a cool dude. I do hope he is able to bounce back. It's tough seeing guys like that get on those rough skids. Sean, what was your thoughts on last week's Dolidze versus Vettori card?
I thought it was pretty good. The main event, I thought, kind of went as expected. I was thinking Dolidze was going to win that, even though he was an underdog, which was, in a way, a little weird, but I understand. Even with Marvin Vettori has two decisions that, in my opinion, he didn't win, and he's won that before. So it's like you also have to throw in judging when it comes to Vettori fights. But Damon Blackshear, anytime he's putting a submission on, tap immediately. He's looking to hurt you. He doesn't try to get a rear naked choke or a Darce choke and just knock you out. He's trying to break something on you. So if he grabs a hold of you, just tap immediately. Get it over with.
Good call. Sound advice. Damon Blackshear, also one of the Fight Pit favorites. Very, very rare that we ever pick against Damon Blackshear. Shout out to Kyle. I know he's watching. One of his staples, one of his guys that he rolls with no matter what. Chidi and Joquani, I do believe, was also an underdog against Elizu Zaleski dos Santos, able to get the round 2 KO. I did have Joquani by KO, but man, when I lined up my picks, I drew them all up. I still go old school. I write stuff out on pen and paper from time to time. And once I went back and I looked based on the odds, I saw a lot of underdogs, and I was like, oh man, I might have messed up here. Very, very badly. But other than Kurt Hollabaugh did pretty good. And then of course I hit all the underdogs that I picked, but the minus 800 Musasa is the one that loses. That's just the freaking story of my life, man. And then also too, Sean, as of note, referring back to our last episode, we mentioned that based on what happened with that card, our boy Fluffy could move up to number 8 by this time. I have, in fact, confirmed Fluffy has cracked the top 8 finally, and he will be continuing to move on up. I think, you know, probably by the end of the year, if he's not top 5 or top 3, I think, you know, something must be up.
Oh, I agree, definitely. The only way he isn't is if people avoid him. That's really it. It happens. Some people just don't accept fights against certain guys because they know how hot they are. It's like, no, I got to stay away from this one.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully he's, you know, in his last one, he didn't call out anybody specifically, just said anybody that's moves me up the rankings and gets me closer to the title, which, you know, can't be mad at that. And dude, I just, there's no way. I feel as though he's got to at least get one more in, at the rate that he's going. Hasn't been taking very much damage at all in any of his most recent fights, and just at the rate he's going, I don't see any way that he's not in the top 5 by the time we get around to 2026.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, and before we get too much further into this Fight Night Moreno versus Erceg card, we are going to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Vivid Seats, online ticket marketplace where fans can buy and sell tickets to their favorite sporting events, music concerts, and more, empowering every fan to get to the live events that shape their most vivid moments and memories. Vivid Seats is committed to getting you to the events you love more easily and more often. Vivid Seats truly believes in the power of shared experiences to connect people and are relentless about finding ways to make your event discovery and ticket purchases easy, fun, and exciting. With over 1 million unique and in-demand events sold on their site, 19 million plus pump fans that have found their event tickets through Vivid Seats, and 140 million plus memory-making tickets sold through Vivid Seats. A 100% buyer guarantee designed to give you peace of mind, safe and secure transactions. Your private and personal information will remain private and personal, and full service customer care, because you deserve hassle-free assistance from start to finish. Vivid Seats is proud partners of ESPN, Capital One, San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Kings, Make-A-Wish, and the Fight Pit. So click the link down in the description below to go straight to Vivid Seats and start shopping for your tickets today. Thank you, as always, to Vivid Seats for sponsoring the Fight Pit. We appreciate you keeping the lights on, folks.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, now it is time to take a look at some prelim fighters to watch on this Moreno versus Erceg card. Gonna breeze through the prelims. Got some really good fights that they put on for this Mexico City card. Very, very solid card. Top to bottom, doesn't matter what point in the card you start watching. Hopefully, if you're a fight nerd like us, you're going to be watching start to finish, as always. But if anything comes up and you do, you know, if you do happen to be at a spring training baseball game, there's not a bad point to start watching in this card. Very solid card, top to bottom. As far as what it's listed right now, we always do these early, so the bout orders are subject to change. But as it's listed right now, first fight of the night, Ismael Bonfim versus Austin Hubbard. Banger, bro. Banger right out of the gate. The names on this, like we were saying, not like star-studded type of card, but we got we got just like really solid matchups, very, very evenly matched fights, very exciting fights, stylistically great fights. Ismael Bonfim versus Austin Hubbard, Rafa Garcia versus Vince Pichel, Lupi Godinez versus Julia Pilastri, Christian Rodriguez versus Melky Costa, Jose Medina versus Ateba Gautier, and Edgar Chairez versus CJ Vergara. Bro, that's the prelims. That's the prelims. That is solid. That is so solid. Right off the bat, Ismael Bonfim and Austin Hubbard, very solid fight. Rafa Garcia and Vince from Hell Pichel. I can't even believe Vince Pichel is still doing it, bro. Insane. Christian Rodriguez and Melky Costa, I think, is going to be a fire fight. That one's, I don't see that one making it to the cards, and if it does, there will be blood. There will be blood. And then Edgar Chairez and CJ Vergara, killer. If Bonfim and Hubbard goes the decision, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to call on that one. Both of those guys are capable of getting decisions. Bonfim, I think Ismael Bonfim he does have quite a few submissions, right? Is he the right Bonfim? Is he the submission one, or is that the other one?
He has 4 submissions in 25 fights. So he has 9 wins by knockout. So
okay, yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong one. But Bonfim and Hubbard going to a decision. That one, I do like it going to a decision. But you never know. You never know. Christian Rodriguez and Melky Costa, I do not think is going to a decision. I think that one's going to be a finish. And then Edgar Chairez and CJ Vergara, I would take fight not to go the distance also. Those ones are all, both of those ones I think are very capable of being some highlight reel finishes on that one. Sean, any prelim fighters or any prelim bets that you want to lock in?
Not really lock in, but I will say my first episode that I was on with the Fight Pit back in 2023, my first fight I had was the UFC debut of CJ Vergara. So he was my very first fight I had on the Fight Pit House Call Sports. So he's already one of my favorites. His last fight he lost, but he was losing on the cards and he gave it everything he had in the 3rd round. He's one of those guys. He has heart. He's gonna go until he drops. So I'm definitely rooting on CJ Vergara. That's my guy.
You always remember your first. Always. Edgar Chairez, no walk in the park. No. Definitely. So,
I think he's favored, if I'm correct.
I can't remember the odds. I didn't type them out on this one, but I wouldn't be surprised. I do like CJ Vergara though too, like personally, just as a fan. So I hopefully CJ Vergara is plus money, because I would definitely take that. Let me see what Fight Odds has. And the odds that we're looking at too, they are current as of March 20th per fightodds.io. That's where I always get all the odds from. Most of them coming from Bet Online, some of them from Bovada, some of them MyBookie. Just depends on which ones are the most complete. Let's see. Right now we have Edgar Chairez at a -255, CJ Vergara at a +215. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, how confident are you taking CJ Vergara at a 2-1, Sean?
It's tough. He's lost his last 2. One of them was by finish, and then this last one he was losing the first 2 rounds, and then he gave it everything he had in the 3rd round and won the round, but did not win the fight. So it is tough to give it to him. But as much as a finish could happen here, I could see this going to decision because CJ Vergara has that willpower. So if I had to sprinkle anything, I would be sprinkling like over 1.5 or 2.5 rounds, trying to go to distance. But I do think Edgar should win the fight. But that's what I was saying. I thought he was the favorite just by looking at him. But I'm just still rooting for CJ Vergara anyway.
Solid. I like it. Matt, how do you feel about these prelims? Anything that you like?
Yeah, I feel like you have a pretty solid set of prelims. I'm pretty high on Christian Rodriguez right now. I know he did snap Bashi's, I think it was like a 10 fight streak. He also did snap Raul Rosas Jr. fight streak as well. So um, he's a nice up and comer. I think he is going to be a war. He's going to put on a show.
Agreed. Absolutely. Christian Rodriguez, always fun to watch. Always ready, always game. And like I was saying too, Melky Costa, he's going to bring it. He's going to fight his heart out, and that's the kind of opponent you want for Christian Rodriguez too. Very solid. While I was doing the odds, since we're on the topic of the odds, I actually got quite scared because fightodds.io had I was having trouble finding the odds for Moreno and Erceg until I scrolled down and it's listed under canceled fights, and I spent a good solid 20 minutes trying to find anything else that said that the fight was canceled. Could not find anything. Everything still says that it's on, so false alarm as of right now, but not cool. Not cool, FightOdds.io. Very, very not clutch on your part, giving me a panic attack like that.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship.
Let's go ahead and jump on into the main card. I'm gonna go ahead and kick us off. For the first fight, we got Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kelvin Borjas. Luis Ronaldo Rodriguez, currently at a 17-2 record with 7 KOs, 5 submissions, 4 decision wins, 1 DQ win, riding a 7-fight win streak. Coming off of his last fight was a unanimous decision win over Ode Osborne, September 14th of last year. Going up against Kelvin Borjas, 9-3 record with 8 KOs, 1 decision, riding 4-2 record in his last 6 fights. Currently on a 2-fight losing streak though, coming off of a TKO loss to Alessandro Costa May 4th of 2024. This one is a matchup right out of the gate of 2 dudes who are very solid strikers, very well-rounded strikers, guys that do have very well-rounded capabilities. They're comfortable everywhere. I'm not totally positive where this fight is going to take place, because I do think that, either of these guys could try to take the route of getting in close, clinching, trying to eliminate the distance striking potential of each other. Both of these guys have you got 8 KOs for Borjas and 7 KOs for Rodriguez, so neither of them are strangers to getting the finish on the feet. Right now, you got a 7-fight win streak on the side of Rodriguez and a 2-fight losing streak on the side of Borjas. Borjas does not have any submission wins, but I would not be surprised if he tried to take it the safe route, tried to do the the path of least resistance, try to get in close, try to tie up Rodriguez, and try to outpoint him on the scorecards. He does only have 1 decision win, but when you're on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC, it's not too much further on until people start looking at maybe getting cut, especially for the lower divisions. They're not very hard up for fighters at those lower divisions, so trying to bounce back on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get this one going to a decision, but my gut tells me that this is going to be a finish. I don't want to sell Borjas short, because he is game. He is game. He will throw down. He will stand toe-to-toe. He will go to war with you if he has to. Official pick, I am going to take Rodriguez on this one. The bet and the rounds that I'm going to lock in on this one, I'm going to say under 2.5, because both of these guys are capable of getting a knockout at any point. Like I said, not taking anything away from Borjas, but Rodriguez riding the 7-fight win streak. He's got the more well-rounded finish potential. If it does go to the ground, I do feel like it favors Rodriguez a little bit. And on this one, it's close on the odds. It could go either way. Both of these guys, like I said, very evenly matched, very, very capable, very well-rounded. Anything could happen. I'm gonna go with Rodriguez on this one, and the rounds I'm going under 2.5. And the bet, if you're gonna bet on this fight, my recommendation is to stick with the under 2.5, because either one of these guys can get it done at any point.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, baby. Moving right along, we got the next one up. I'm going to throw it to Sean. He's going to let us know about David Martinez versus Saimon Oliveira.
So before I go over their stats and stuff like this is a fight that you have a hungry, young UFC debut. If you count Dana White Contender Series, then it's not technically his debut, but I'm talking in the actual organization with contract. This is his first fight versus a guy that is on the cutting board. He's 0-2. He hasn't fought in 2 years, and this could be a situation where if he loses here, he gets cut. So David Martinez is 11-1 with 9 KOs. His one loss was a split decision loss, and I think it was his 5th fight, so it wasn't even in the UFC. This is his UFC debut. He has big time power, and at bantamweight, you don't expect them to have 9 KOs in 12 fights. You just don't expect that at bantamweight. This guy has extreme power. 5'6" and 26 years old, young, hungry stud. Very accurate with his striking too. He's not Sean O'Malley version, but he's a solid striker. He's more like a Rob Font. Like he can strike with you, but he has that nuclear punching power. And then you have Saimon Oliveira, 18-5, 5 KOs, 11 submissions, very good grappler, but he's 0-2 in the UFC. He won his Dana White Contender Series fight by split decision. So I'm kind of confused with that. Usually you don't get into UFC off of a split decision unless it's like the Ultimate Fighter. But I did not go back and look at that one, but I will look at that fight to see why. Maybe it was an exciting fight and both guys got in. Hasn't fought in over 2 years. It was January of 2023 when the last time he fought, and he got KO'd. And before that, he had a decision loss a few months prior. He is a very good grappler, but we haven't seen in UFC. It was prior to UFC that he's gotten all his submissions and his KOs. Like I said, he could get cut. He is 5'4", 33 years old. This is the weird stat that I thought was interesting. When I was looking at their reach, David Martinez is the taller fighter by 2 inches, has a 67.5-inch reach. Then you have Oliveira, which is 5'4", 2 inches shorter, has a 72-inch reach. Almost a 5-inch reach advantage. And you think like 72 inches, all right, that's 6 feet. At a 5'4" height, you have a 6 foot reach. You have some string arms to do that. But as much as I would love to see Saimon Oliveira stick around because you never want anyone getting cut, David Martinez, 9 KOs. He nuclear bombs on his fists. And I think he's going to get a KO. I don't think it's going to be take 2 quick. I would love to say first round, but I think I'm going to go to my default and say second round KO. My bet pick obviously would be David Martinez to get the win, but also picking not to go to distance is a safe bet too. The only way Oliveira wins this fight is getting it to the ground and keeping it on the ground, maybe landing a submission. But what I've seen of David Martinez is he does have good takedown defense. So it's going to be tough for him to get him down and keep him down. So I'm going David Martinez here.
Dude, 72. I have 74. I'm 6 feet tall. That's crazy, bro. 72-inch reach. He's got damn near the same reach as me at, 8 inches shorter? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
That is insane, bro. And you were going David Martinez, money line, and fight not to go the distance. Are we going, you said second round, are we going under 2.5 then?
Yeah, we'll go under 2.5.
Beauty.
Both should be pretty safe.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, baby. Matt, I had to try to keep it fair for us all. But I having you jumping back in on this one too. I had to try to give you one of the most fun ones, man. So I hope you had fun with this one. We're gonna throw it on over to Matt. He's gonna let us know about Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales.
Yes, so we got Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. Raul is 10-1 and Vince Morales is 16-9. He is 0-2 in the UFC. So I feel like this is kind of a building block for Raul Rosas Jr. The UFC is giving him. Um, he has been submitted in the past twice, but that was early on in his career. I think once was in 2015 and the other in 2018. But with that being said, I don't think he has faced anybody with the grappling like Raul Rosas Jr. I can definitely see him getting a submission here, but ultimately I am going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. and I would say money line would be a safe bet. You never know how. I know it was earlier in his career. I'm not sure how Vince Morales' takedown defense is now. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. Raul Rosas Jr. money line.
If you had to throw a rounds pick in there, we're going. I agree with you. I think Sean agrees with you too. We're taking Raul Rosas money line. Yep. If you had to throw a rounds bet in there, how soon do you think it gets done? Are we going under?
This one was a pretty tough one for me to decide. If I would want to go over or under 1.5 rounds. I think Raul Rosas Jr. has the grappling able to put away Vince Morales, especially since he is 0-2 in the UFC. You know, he's not off of a streak or anything like that. The momentum is on Raul Rosas Jr.'s side as well, so I can see that happening.
Hey, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, next 3 fights we are going to hit the round robin on. Like I said, bout order is subject to change. I'm going off of what is listed on the UFC website, but on SureDog, they have this next fight listed as the co-main event. So this one could be the co-main event. It might not, but I'm going to go off what the UFC says, even though they're wrong a lot. They are wrong a lot. But the next fight we're going to cover is Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. I'm going to hit the specs and then we'll toss it around the horn. Kelvin Gastelum at a 19-9 record, 6 KO wins, 5 submission wins, 8 decision wins, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off of a unanimous decision win over Daniel Rodriguez, June 22nd of last year, 2024. Joe Pyfer at a 13-3 with 9 KO wins, 3 submission wins, and 1 decision. He's 6-1 in his last 7 fights, coming off of a KO win over Marc-Andre Barriault, June 29th, 2024. This one, I'll go ahead and kick us off. I'm going to say Joe Pyfer because I don't trust Kelvin Gastelum at all. Every single time I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, it's just not there anymore. He's just not the same Kelvin Gastelum that we knew and loved. Coming off of the Ultimate Fighter, man, had just, you know, that underdog mentality, that grit, that grind, that wrestler that could just, you know, take the scariest dudes and put them on their butt and keep them there and grind it out, get KOs, get submissions. He was just doing it all. I feel like up until he got to that Adesanya fight, I think took something out of him. He just hasn't been the same guy since then. Struggled with weight quite a bit, something that we've had to deal with the frustrations of. And I always, you know, it's a tough gig. It's a tough gig making weight. I am very much in favor of them doing away with weight cutting in the future. Hopefully that's something we'll be able to cover at some point, but I'm going to kick us off with Joe Pyfer at a -550. I'm going Joe Pyfer money line. Sean, who do you like in this one, bro?
Yeah, for the reason, like you said, you just can't trust Kelvin Gastelum. He's all over the place with the weight. The size difference is amazing too. Like Joe Pyfer, if I'm correct, he's 6'2". Like it's going to be such a height difference, a reach difference. His striking is so fast, and he's just quicker altogether. He's not easy to take down or keep down. So Kelvin Gastelum's way to victory is very slim. And I think the odds are correct here. I think it was like a -500, and I honestly think that's correct.
Yeah, Pyfer, at the time of this recording, like I say, we always do this a week earlier, so by next week it could be different. But right now, Joe Pyfer sitting at a minus 550, Kelvin Gastelum at a plus 400, which if Kelvin Gastelum is able to do what he did in his last one against Daniel Rodriguez, I'm a big D-Rod fan. I love pause. I'm a big Daniel Rodriguez fan, but I had high hopes for him in that one. I didn't trust Kelvin Gastelum, and of course, as soon as I bet against Kelvin Gastelum, he's able to put it together and get it done. But sans a vintage Kelvin Gastelum performance, I think Joe Pyfer is pretty much a lock on this one. Matt, how do you feel about this one, brother?
Yeah, we're all going to be unanimous on this one. I'm going to have to go with Joe Pyfer as well. Gastelum is 3-7 in his last 10 bouts, and I just don't think the contender Gastelum is there yet. Is there anymore? I mean, like you said, ever since the Israel Adesanya fight, it seems to have taken a piece out of him, and he's never been able to, at least that we've seen, ever been able to get that back.
Agreed. Poor guy, man, too. Had such high hopes for him. He was right there. Oh, that's got to be frustrating. Wish you all the best, Kelvin. Wish you all the best. But we are unanimous on Joe Pyfer, so that is going to go down as an official pick for the Fight Pit for this card. So lock it in, Joe Pyfer money line, baby.
Ay, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, moving right along. Like I said, this is, as of right now, listed as the co-main event. Bout order subject to change, but possibly the toughest to pick on this one. Very difficult one to pick on this one. We got Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. Manuel Torres at a 15-3 record, 7 KO wins, 7 submission wins, 1 decision win, 6-1 in his last 7, coming off of a TKO loss to Ignacio Bahamondes on September 14th, 2024, going up against my guy, Drew Dober. 27-14 record, 14 KO wins, 6 submission wins, 7 decision wins, 4-3 in his last 7, riding a 2-fight losing streak, coming off of the TKO loss to Jean Silva, July 13th of 2024. I'll take it back the opposite way and let Matt kick us off on this one. Matt, how do you see this one going, bro?
So this one, it was very hard for me to choose, but I'm ultimately going to go with Manuel Torres. I think Manuel Torres is the live by the sword, die by the sword type of guy. He will always take a step forward, and that's something that'll really help him in the Drew Dober fight. I know he did get KO'd in his last bout, but that's because, like I said, he always takes a step forward. He wasn't afraid to go in the exchanges. And Drew Dober has been KO'd twice in his last 4 fights, so I'm not sure if he'll be a bit how the chin is going to hold up, and I'm also not too sure if he'll maybe be gun shy because of that. And ultimately, I'm gonna have to go with Manuel Torres. I think he's gonna get it done. I don't see this one going to a decision, honestly. But I know every time you see a fight that you don't think is gonna go to a decision, it ends up going to a decision. So I think over a round and a half is a good bet for this one.
I like that. Sound reasoning. Very good call. Sean, how do you see this one going, my man?
I'm going to be agreeing with Matt there. I'm going to be going Manuel Torres. I had his last fight with the Fight Pit. I had him against Ignacio Bahamondes, and I did pick Manuel Torres. Thing is, he's never fought. I looked back at the guy's heights. He's never fought anyone 6'1", let alone 6'3". So that was the big thing that I didn't really put into my last pick when I picked them. But Drew Dober's 5'8", while he's 5'10". That is not the same situation. 5'8" to 6'3" is that's a mile at this point, like when it comes to the fight game. So I'm definitely thinking Manuel Torres is going to go in there, just like Matt said, live by the sword, die by the sword. But he is very clean. Even though his last fight wasn't clean, once again, 6'3" at lightweight. That's stupid. Like, that's why? How? Eat something, for God's sake. But my God, if I was 6'3", I'd be 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, it's ridiculous. But I'm going Manuel Torres. It's going to be a first round finish. I think he's going to go in there, force it with Drew Dober, and I think he's just a cleaner striker, and he has insane power. And if it goes to the ground, honestly, he could get a submission too. 7 submissions, all in the first round also.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Excellent call, guys. Excellent call. Unfortunately, this one will not go down as unanimous because I can't not pick the guy named Drew. I can't not pick my guy. Drew Dober, just been one of my favorite fighters since he got going. He's been going for a long time too. He is just one of those guys that you can never really count out. The odds also reflect that. At the time of recording, sitting at a dead even -110 for both of them. And I do not disagree with you guys picking Manuel Torres at all, because it does not look good for Drew Dober in this one. I had Drew Dober being able to get it done against John Silva, and that was back before I really understood who John Silva was. He was just an absolute animal. Coming up in weight, being able to do that to a veteran like Drew Dober, somebody who is just always game, someone who is always bringing the action, always taking the fight to his opponent, and making it look easy. And that is not easy to do against Drew Dober. But I do totally understand taking Manuel Torres on this one. And I can very much see this going against Drew Dober. He's coming off of a TKO loss. He does not have the momentum going for him at this point. He could very well be on the downswing, and hopefully that's not the case, but we've seen this happen before. We will see it happen again. That last fight, Manuel Torres and Bahamondes, he's just one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes. He's a bad mofo. He's got the size. He's got the skills. He's very talented. He's going to be a problem. And Manuel Torres just ran into him, and it happens. It happens. I do see Manuel Torres going, doing great things in the division. Hopefully, things are able to swing back in Drew Dober's favor on this one. I'm gonna go out on a limb and take Drew Dober on this one, but I would not be surprised at all if we see Manuel Torres get this one done. Not at all.
Drew Dober definitely has fought way better opponents. Well, unfortunately, we can't say exactly with Ignacio Bahamondes because he's still shooting to the stars, but. Mm-hmm. Right now, that loss is actually aging well for Manuel Torres. Because that guy looks like he's unstoppable at the moment at that weight class. He's just ridiculous. But yeah, so if Drew Dober has something on this fight, it's definitely the experience. That's where he can use some veteran experience here, but he does like his firefights too. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Those exchanges, they could go either way, man. Could go either way. It's going to be exciting. I can see why the odds makers had trouble picking a favorite in this one, because you never know.
Hey, give me the chip. I need the championship.
But we are going to the main event of the evening. We have Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. Brandon Moreno still number 2 in the division, sitting at a 22-8-2 record with 5 KO wins, 11 submissions, 6 decision wins, 3-3 in his last 6. I was surprised at that. I did not realize that until I did this. Coming off of a unanimous decision win over Amir Albazi on November 2nd of 2024, going up against Steve Erceg. 12-3 record, 2 KO wins, 6 submission wins, 4 decision wins, 4-2 in his last 6, but also riding a 2-fight losing streak, coming off of a TKO loss to Kai Kara France on August 17th of 2024. This one, I don't have to get too deep and too detailed into it because I am always picking Brandon Moreno. That's just how it goes. It doesn't matter who he's going up against. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. I just blindly pick Brandon Moreno every single time, and I'm going to do the same here. Brandon Moreno, number 2 in the division. Steve Erceg at number 8 in the division, which is still kind of surprising. But if you look at, the state of the division and how things have been going, Steve Erceg, you would think he'd be ranked a little bit higher. Just recently fought for the title, but riding the 2-fight losing streak, and he's just had the toughest competition, the toughest. He got thrown right into the deep end, right out of the gate. Looked very, very good early on. Unfortunately, ran into the cannibal Pantoja and then Kai Kara France, who also could arguably be considered a cannibal. He's just an absolute just monster. And I did have Kai Kara France in that one. I picked Kai Kara France on that one, and was able to get the win on that one by TKO. But just Steve Erceg, man, you cannot count that guy out. He is game. He did put up a very, very good fight in that Pantoja fight. Had his moments. Very, very good showing for his first title fight. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Steve Erceg in another title fight in the future. But until Brandon Moreno's done fighting, I'm picking Brandon Moreno every single time. He's very well-rounded, has the submission game on lock. His boxing, I say it all the time, Mexican boxers are just, it's the best, in my opinion. It's my favorite style of boxing. Mexican boxers are just on a different level. The grit, the grind, the technique, keeping his guard very tight, straight punches right down the pipe. He lands clean 1s and 2s. He's got good head movement. Cuts angles very good. He's never just forward and backward, staying on a straight line. So, for somebody like Brandon Moreno, who early on was viewed as a somewhat of a submission specialist, his striking has rounded out very well, very crisp, and he's put it all together. He's put it all together very well, and this could be a turning point. Like I said, he's 3-3 in his last 6, so it's kind of tough to call. But I'm going to start us off. I'm going to say Brandon Moreno on this one. Sean, I'm going to throw it to you next. How do you see this one going?
I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno. It really depends on which version of Brandon Moreno shows up, in my opinion, because against Brendan Royval, he did not look like himself at all. And even in the championship fight against Pantoja, he supposedly broke his hand or arm really early in that fight. So if that's the case, I'm not one to judge. Like, I'd be crying like a bitch. So there's no doubt there. Like, that I'll give him give him his slack there. And but it's just like, he has to show up. If he shows up like he did his last fight was maybe the best fight I've ever seen him do. Like, it was unbelievable. It was beautiful. He looked incredible. So I'm gonna go Brendan Moreno. Steve Erceg, very good. I still think number 8's still a little low. I think he is a top 5 fighter in this weight class. He just, once again, he went against 2 buzzsaws back to back. So, and now 3. So, unfortunately, I think he's going to have a 3-fight losing streak going against just the cream of the crop here. There's not much you can do when there's only 30. I think it's 30 or 35 flyweights on the roster. So it's like, sorry, you're going to be either you're fighting bums or you're fighting the best of the best right away. No in between.
Yeah, very true. Good point. Matt, how do you see this one going, brother? Round us out.
This one was a very tough fight to pick for me, at least. They are both similar in age, so it's not like one completely washed or one's too much older than the other. I'm ultimately going to have to go with Brandon Moreno. I think that he has taken a lot of damage, but Steve Erceg I feel like he's more of like a volume type of, he definitely does have some power, but for as I would have to give the power advantage to Brandon Moreno, and I could see this one going to a decision 100%. I don't see Moreno submitting Erceg. I know Moreno does have good submissions, but Erceg was able to keep the fight standing almost pretty much the whole fight. Besides, I think the last round with Pantoja, and ultimately I'm gonna have to go with Moreno over Moreno by decision. That's what I'm gonna choose for as a bet.
I like it. I like it. We are unanimous. Lock it in. Brandon Moreno, official pick for the main event. There you have it, baby. We are rolling with the assassin, baby.
Hey, give me the chip. I need the championship.
All right, folks, we have locked in our official picks. We have covered the entire Moreno versus Erceg Fight Night card, top to bottom, and that means it is time for our new favorite segment, the Fight Pit UFC Trivia. Now, I'm going to keep it in the flyweight division. We got some top level flyweights squaring off in the main event for this card. I want to know, who are the top 10 UFC fighters with the most fight time in flyweight history? The flyweight fighters, yeah. Top 10 flyweights with the most fight time. You guys should be able to get number one right off the bat.
Yeah.
Moreno?
Brandon Moreno is number one. He has 4 hours, 43 minutes, and 28 seconds of fight time.
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson is number two with 4 hours, 39 minutes, and 12 seconds of fight time.
I thought he would have been number one. That's crazy. Moreno just is a decision magnet, huh? Wow.
And he's about to add to it, too.
Wow.
It's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
Figueiredo?
Davison Figueiredo, yes, number 9, surprisingly. Davison Figueiredo at number 9 with 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 55 seconds of fight time. So right out of the gate, you guys got 1, 2, and 9. Good call.
Wow, this is going to... Henry Cejudo?
Henry Cejudo not on the top 10, surprisingly.
He had a couple finishes. That's the issue. You got to think of decision magnets.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Wow, I was not thinking of flyweight.
So
one was coming out.
Yeah. I tried to throw you for a little bit of a loop. I tried to give you something I know that you guys will be able to get, but something that you're gonna have to ponder. So we got 1, 2, and 9. We do have somebody that we mentioned recently, somebody that we just talked about a few minutes ago, the person that Steve Erceg most recently fought.
Oh, Kai France.
Kai Kara France sitting at number 10 with 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 42 seconds.
Brandon Royval?
Brandon Royval not on the top 10.
Wow.
Not on the top 10. You
decisions.
guys hit the bookends. Yeah, you guys hit the bookends. You got 1, 2, and 9 and 10. So we gotta fill in the middle. Number 3, somebody that got a title shot against Demetrius Johnson by winning a season of The Ultimate Fighter and ended up putting up a very good fight, actually, and is still fighting, I do believe.
No idea. That one, I've drawn a complete blank.
Yeah, me too.
Number 3 is Tim Elliott.
Elliott,
3 hours. Yeah,
So
I know. I
should've
was
thought,
surprised.
That one
3
we could've
hours,
got.
54 minutes, and 26 seconds.
Wow. So
Number
he has a chance
4.
to catch Demetrius Johnson. Wow.
Yep. Number 4 on the list is considered, this might give it away, considered one of the greatest fighters ever to not win a title.
At flyweight? One of the greatest fighters ever to not win a title.
If I am recalling correctly, I'm not looking up anything, I'm just giving you guys hints off the top of my head, but if I recall correctly, fought for the title 4 times.
Oh, wait. I got a name in my head. Hold on. Not was it Uriah Faber? Where he was a little heavier.
Close. Not Uriah Faber, one of his teammates.
Yeah, God damn it. He does some of the talking in a booth. I can't draw his name. I can picture his face. Can't get his name in my mouth. He does commentary. Oh no.
Mr. Megan O'Leary.
Jesus Christ. Man, I'm shitting the bed on this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm not too familiar with the older.
Flyweights are tough, man. Flyweights are tough. Number 4, Mr. Megan O'Leary, Joseph Benavidez at 3 hours, 30 minutes, and 12 seconds of fight time. Let's see here. Number 5, current champion.
Oh,
Pantoja at number 5 all time with 3 hours, 22 minutes, and 26 seconds.
That's 2 of them we should have been able to get. Yeah, without hits. 2 of them we should have got without hits.
Yeah, these last 3, 6, 7, and 8, I think, are probably going to be even tougher because they're older guys who have not fought in quite a while. You guys want to take any shots in the dark before I give them to you?
No.
That
period of time was Demetrius Johnson dominating. So that's it.
Yep. I do believe all these guys. Well, maybe not number 7. I don't recall. But I do know that I do know 2 of these guys did fight Demetrius Johnson. They were in during that time. Number 6, Jussier Formiga at 3 hours and 55 seconds. These ones that honestly I do know all of these guys and I did watch all of them fight, but I can honestly say I wouldn't have guessed any of these guys. Number 7, shout out Dustin Ortiz. Dark horse, baby. Yeah, 2 hours, 54 minutes, and I know, right? 2 hours, 54 minutes, and 27 seconds. And number 8, John Moraga at 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 19 seconds.
That's the only one I feel like of those 3 that we had an actual shot at maybe getting, but not the other 2. Not the other 2. The other 2 I don't think we had a shot at.
This one was a tough one. Flyweight division is just, it's been one of those divisions that's just bounced around so much. Demetrius Johnson just ran the show for so long and made it so difficult for anybody to catch up. But surprisingly, Brandon Moreno fighting main event of this card, going to extend his fight time as the number 1. Are we definitely in agreement that he's going to finish with well over 5 hours of fight time by the time it's all said and done?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Can't say I disagree. That's going to be tough to touch. Especially considering the next closest active fighter is Alexander Pantoja at number 5, and then Davison Figueiredo at 9, and Kai Kara France at number 10. I think Brandon Moreno is going to hold on to that number 1 spot for quite a while.
All right, so this one is Name the Fighter. So I have 5 hints. I say we do, because we did it last time, we did like 1 guess when you know it. I want to do 2 guesses just so if you want to throw one out there, just feel like you have it, but you're not 100% sure, you could just go for it and see if you could get like a cool snipe. I think that's cool for a clip. So you both get 2 guesses. It's going to be 5 hints.
5 hints, but we get 2 total guesses.
Yeah, 2 for you, 2 for Matt. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. So if you want to save them till 4 and 5, you can. But if you feel like you have a name that just you want to try to snipe right away, you go for it too.
Oh man, I'm so impulsive, man. That's going to be tough. I might waste both of my guesses early.
The first 3 aren't going to give it away right away. 4 and 5 may give it away. That's why I kind of did it this way. Yeah. You guys ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Name the fighter. The first hint: never won undisputed gold.
Oh, so that tells me that he was an interim champ. I'm gonna save my guesses on this one. Matt, you going out on a limb?
On this one.
Okay.
All right. Hint number 2. Won the Ultimate Fighter.
Ooh. Dang, man, because now I put interim champ in our heads, and we don't know that that's a fact. Won the Ultimate Fighter, never undisputed champ. Well, we know that. I know all the early guys. I know all the early seasons like the back of my hand, like seasons 1 through 10, 1 through 11. Bisping was champ. Rashad was champ. Forrest Griffin was champ.
I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Okay, here's my impulsiveness going out on a limb. My first guess for the attempted early snipe, Tony Ferguson.
And you nailed the snipe. Got it.
Let's go! Let's fucking go!
See, I was
just
thinking about doing never won undisputed gold as like the third and move the first 2 around. I'll go through all the hints, but I think I messed up with the order because I think like what you did, you immediately were thinking, oh, he was interim. I was thinking after the first 2, I was thinking you were going to be thinking Nate Diaz the whole time. So
yeah.
So I was like, maybe Nate Diaz will be sprinkled in your head. But so first hint, never won undisputed gold. Second hint, won the Ultimate Fighter. Third one has 9 UFC finishes. The fourth one is where I think you guys would have got it for sure. Had a 12-fight winning streak.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then the fifth one is the easiest one. It was followed by an 8-fight losing streak. So I mean, those two.
Yeah.
So I basically ended off that you're going to get it, but I wanted to see if I could get by the first 3. That was a snipe. Did
you hear about him in the GFL?
Oh, is he going to GFL?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
supposedly.
Jesus Christ.
Man, how do you feel about that?
No, he should be done. He needs to stop fighting. Oh.
I absolutely love Tony Ferguson, and we covered it in the last episode too. I don't ever want to play devil's advocate and be the guy who's like, yeah, bro, you got to hang it up. It's, oh man, it's tough. I hope he's healthy. I hope he's healthy mentally and physically, especially if he's going to be going in and going up against anybody that's dangerous at all, because my heart can't physically handle any more losses on the Tony Ferguson front. Have they announced who he's going to be fighting?
It was supposed to be Dylan Dennis, but I know GFL has been announcing things and they don't have the fighters, and I'm pretty sure Dylan Dennis is boxing KSI, so I'm not too sure how that is gonna work out.
Yeah, that's tricky, man. Like, I like the idea of what GFL is trying to do, but there's a lot of question marks, a lot of I don't knows.
100%. I know they just announced. I think Shogun and Yoel Romero were supposed to fight each other in the GFL, but I'm not too sure about that one either. We'll see when the time comes, I guess.
Oh my goodness! That's gonna be fucking crazy if that happens. All right, there you go, folks. That is it for the UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Erceg episode. Fun stuff. I love how the UFC trivia is panning out. Excellent picks again. I forgot to do this on the last one, so I'll make sure I do it on this one. Official picks. Wow. There you go, up on the screen. You guys can tail, you guys can fade. If anybody watching, if you disagree with any of our picks, if you're going the other way on any of our picks, if there's anything that maybe there's something that we missed, we would love to know. So let us know in the comments how you guys are going about this card betting wise. Let us know your thoughts. Any questions, any other UFC trivia recommendations, anything at all that you guys would like to see, feel free to let us know in the comments. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to the subscribers. To anybody that's new, seeing us for the first time, welcome to the Fight Pit, baby. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please do hit subscribe if you did. And make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, The Fight Pit Podcast, at The Fight Pit Podcast on Instagram. You can find all of our handles. I'll have all of them on the screen as well. And that's it. That's a wrap. Boys, always great to see you, as usual. Any final thoughts?
Let us know if you like the trivia, because we very much enjoy it, and hopefully we kill it on the fight picks.
Well, a great recording this with you. We'll see how we do in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great to have you back, Matt. Sean, always great to see you, as usual. We will always be posting our current, up-to-date 2025 records. You can keep up with how we're doing with our bet picks. Let us know how you guys are doing. We always love the feedback and any other commentary that you guys got. So appreciate you for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next week for the next one. Until then, peace.
Hey, give me the chip. I need the championship. Wait, we got a dream.